Yes guys, welcome back to the channel. This is the second day of Halloween and today we're talking about the Manson family. In this episode I'm going to talk about Manson as a youngster, going into his teens and then going into the early stages of the Manson family. There'll be a second part talking about the Manson family crimes later this week. I've done that to bulk out what I believe you guys need to know about Manson and the Manson family before we talk about the crimes. We'll start with his early life. Charles Manson was an unwanted baby born to a young prostitute. It was even said that she offered to sell him to a childless waitress in exchange for a single pitcher of beer. Charles Manson, at a young age, was heavily on the streets and heavily involved in crime and did many stints in different youth prisons and youth establishments. This led to a lot of sexual abuse towards Charles Manson. In the 50s, Charles Manson began to pimp out women from a Hollywood apartment. If you think of a lot of characteristics to a pimp, they're controlling, they'd have to know what's going on all the time, which will lead us on to a lot of things that make sense to do with the Manson family. Charles Manson actually went to prison again in 1960, this time for a 7-year stint. He used this time to expand his thinking and expand his mind. This is where he actually met a Scientologist. It is believed he sat through 150 hours of Scientology or counselling that helped warp his mind and change his view of the world. He used a lot of this time in the prison to create music. He wrote his own music, he played guitar. He would often play to guards, to other inmates, to whoever would listen to him. This would help fill his ego. He was released in 1967. It was a new world. He was surrounded by sex, drugs and rock and roll, exactly what he needed to spread his message. And in this start of the hippie era in the 60s, late 60s, early 70s, it was very easy to spread messages if you walked around and you preached in the right way. And Manson did so, and he began to grow a following he would call the Manson family. The Manson family, where does it really start? It started with just a small group of girls, people that were unloved, looking for a father figure, which Manson was obviously happy to be and happy to give what he can. He ended up buying a bus, a bit like a school bus, and he would travel around the country picking up extra members for this Manson family. While he was doing that, he was also going to multiple music labels, trying to get himself signed, to get him out there to become the musician he believed he was, through what he had done in prison. Learning music, writing new music, he tried to push this onto the world. He was rejected multiple times, which reminded him of when he was a child being rejected by his own mother. This obviously angered Manson, very much so. He had a vendetta against the world. This is where it started to be him versus everyone else. He ended up picking a old movie ranch to house the family. At this point, they were both men and women, all with troubled backgrounds, living in this family. Sex and drugs were frequent. They loved Charles Manson to a point where it was believed that he had brainwashed the family. Sometimes he would say that he was Jesus but also the devil incarnate, two in one. And this is where he started to give off the message of a future race war. A future race war that he would name Helter Skelter. This race war, he said, was going to be like their Armageddon, the end of days, the end of the world. And what would happen is him and the family would live in the desert to make sure they stayed away from this race war, and then whoever won the race war, they would come up against the Manson family at the end they would lose and the Manson family would rule the world. Experts did many tests, many tests on Manson and about these theories. They believe that Manson himself did not believe these theories, that he used them to keep control of the family. But he didn't keep control for long. People started to leave the family, which worried Manson, which troubled Manson. People started to leave, and he started to get more and more aggressive and more controlling, to even the point he shot a drug dealer, believing he was part of this Black Panther group that were going to be part of the Helter Skelter race war. The Helter Skelter race war is where we're going to leave this video, because that is the start of the Manson family crimes. We'll get into the crimes in the next couple of days. I hope you're happy with what I brought to you. It's a quick little video on the Manson family and Charles Manson's early life. Please like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and yeah, I'll see you again soon. Peace.